Welcome to the Week Zero press conference for head coach Curt Mallory as the Sycamores are preparing for the Eastern Illinois Panthers as the rivalry at the border between Indiana State and Eastern Illinois. Coach Mallory, you can go ahead and begin with an opening statement and preview Week Zero after I know it's been a little while since you guys have been able to play a game.
Well, it's great to be in game week. It's been a long time. We're anxious to play. We've got a great opponent to start off the season. The guys will be ready. We're anxious to play. And we still have a lot of work this week to get done. We'll have big Tuesday, big Wednesday, preparation on Thursday and Friday for a great game on Saturday.
You mentioned obviously just the process of over the last, there'll be 644 days between your games. How are you handling the emotions of your guys? Probably understand that they're ready to go, but you always preach a slow burn.
That's right. You know, that's been the message all along. As a slow burn, we're not going to play the game this past Saturday. We're not going to play the game this week. We're not going to play it in pregame. We have to play it at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And they're going to be anxious. And they'll be anxious to play. That's why we got to keep preparing and get them ready for that time when it does have kickoff. But that's been the message all along. It's got to be a slow burn. And when game time starts, we got to be ready to go.
You knew you liked your team heading into the year. Is there anything you've learned over the last 3 weeks as you've been in fall camp that maybe you liked even more that maybe you didn't recognize at the beginning?
Well, I think the togetherness. You know, this is going to be a big test on us, as it has been along, all through college football, is staying together and not become divided. And this team is stayed together through not playing 644 days, and guys have stuck through it, and they've stuck together. And they've done that throughout camp. And you can see this is a team that's a very close team, very close-knit team that cares about one another. And I believe it's an unselfish team. You only have 11 starters on offense and 11 starters on defense, and everyone wants to be a starter. But you know what? Everyone's going to pick up a rifle and be ready to go. And that's how we've approached it. Guys have a role to play, and then they got to take that with a lot of pride. And that's what I've seen throughout camp.
When you think of offensively, the last time you played, Dom Daphne, of course, was such a huge role towards the end of the year with Curtis at quarterback. How do you envision your team really looking offensively as you get back into the fall here in 2021?
Well, it's always going to start up front, with our offensive line. We graduated a lot of guys. Didn't have Isaiah Edwards for most of the year, so he's back. We got a lot of new faces in there, and really proud of how these guys have developed and come together. The cohesiveness is always key. They've been practicing together, and now they're going to get tested on Saturday playing together. So it's always going to start up front. We return some other guys that have played, but it'll always start up front with our offensive line.
In terms of the depth up front, you mentioned Isaiah not being able to play much of the 2019 season. Where's the depth improved up in the front of the offensive line? Because I know you really like the depth on your defensive front.
Mm-hmm. It has improved. We've got Alvin Clemens, who's really had a great offseason, has really prepared hard to be the starting center. He has played for us in another role when we got into some big personnel, but his time has come. Jose Vasquez is a really good player who's played a lot of plays for us, has started a lot of games for us, and we've got some young tackles out there. But the depth of the offensive line has really improved physically. This past winter really showed these guys and how much they've worked and how they've developed to help us. And so you can see the gains that they've made to add some depth.
Indiana State has had an all-conference linebacker on the first or second team since 2016. It started with Jameer Thurman and kind of went through to Cottrell Moss, Jonas Griffith, Clayton Glasgow. Those are guys that Kelvin Broom's been behind. How has Kelvin been able to utilize that experience behind those guys? And you always say the expectation is at the position, and the guys prior to him have definitely set that expectation that he's trying to carry.
Kelvin's been with those guys. Those were teammates of his, the guys you just mentioned. And so that's key. He's been around those guys. His time is now, and he's had a great offseason. Other guys that have played, Matt Thompson, he's a guy that has been in there. Davion Higgs has played, and now you got a newcomer who's been with us for a while, who's going to be in there in the mix is Heath Stevens. So feel really good about the linebacker core and where they're going.
How's Anoke Mawala, in terms of being a defensive captain along with Michael Thomas, set that expectation for those guys defensively and the year you're kind of expecting from your main leader there on the defense in Noakes?
You know, Anoke has always been a leader. Where he's really come out as being the vocal leader. Jonas Griffith obviously had been that, was very outspoken. Anoke has always been a leader, a lead by example guy. Now he's in front talking, and he's more of the vocal guy now, which we need him to be, and he's done a tremendous job of doing so.
You look towards Eastern Illinois. I know Coach Cushing is a man you respect very highly, was kind of Pat Fitzgerald's right-hand guy when he was at Northwestern, has so much really strong football experience. He kind of has been going through what you went through here and building a program. What's impressed you most about what he's been able to do? I know the wins aren't exactly where he would want it, but what do you see when you do watch his team on film as you've seen it progress since day one for him?
You know, Adam's first class. I've known Adam for a long time. Him and his staff do a great job. I see him everywhere we go, whether it's recruiting, what have you. They do it the right way. You can see that it's a much improved football team. You saw him improve from game one to the very last game. He's doing it the right way, which I would expect none other coming from Adam. But they're a much improved football team, and got a tremendous amount of respect for him and his staff.
Where do you feel right out of the gate? Granted, you guys haven't played a game in 644 days, but where do you see them really testing you right out of the gate here in week 0?
Well, you know, they played last year, so you know they got game experience, and so can't put a price tag on that. You know, you're out there, you're under the lights, you're able to play, and that they use that to their fullest. You could see them improve as a football team, and they just got better and better. How they're going to attack us, we'll see. You know, I mean, you know, you prepare for a lot of things that first game, but I know one thing we'll prepare for, and that's a hard-nosed, well-coached football team.